We must put the principle of equality into action so that science works for women because it works against them all too often. For example, when algorithms perpetuate the biases of their programmers. Joint message from UNESCO and UN Women on the occasion of the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, 11 February 2022. Good afternoon. My name is Himanshi Mehrdani, and I'm a first-year student at the University of Wollongong in Dubai, and I'm majoring in international business. I'm your MC for today. Welcome. So here is the agenda. So we welcome right now, and we have the Inspire session at 4:30. Then we have the Tech G panel discussion at 4:45, and a Q&A and networking session at 5:30 p.m. And the event closes at 6 o'clock. International Day of Women and Girls in Science. So despite progressive efforts by United Nations, governments, and non-government organizations worldwide, gender equality is a pressing issue and a global priority for UNESCO. Though gender inequality in education takes many forms, girls continue to be the more disadvantaged category than boys. So much that some 62 million girls are still being denied education. Although gender equality in education has been achieved in most OECD countries, it is prominent in income-poor countries and income-poor within the countries. Research has shown that there is no difference between girls and boys in terms of performance in science-related areas. Unfortunately, research has also shown that girls are less likely to choose science, technology, engineering, or mathematics subjects to pursue in higher education, even if they manage to complete high school. Through numerous government, non-government, and global efforts, gender disparity in education has reduced, albeit slowly. However, even in developed nations, research has shown that girls are less likely to pursue further education in science, technology, engineering, mathematics compared to boys. Although most schools provide preparation for further education in STEM, girls seem more oriented towards sociology, English, etc., whereas boys are more inclined to pursue careers in STEM. Furthermore, studies have shown that school years play a major role in deciding for girls which career path. In order to achieve full and equal access to and participation in science for women and girls, and further achieve gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls, the UN General Assembly adopted a resolution declaring 11th February as the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. The UAE is leading this conversation, rising 48 places in 1 year in the Global Gender Gap Index. Two-thirds of UAE's recent university graduates are women, 77% with degrees in computer sciences and 44% in engineering. Nearly half of female graduates are information and communication technology specialists, national statistics show. Have a watch.
The future of the UAE needs to be driven by knowledge, and it needs to be fueled by knowledge.
The percentage of women in the UAE space sector is 34%, and the percentage of women at the UAE Space Agency is 44%. So you'll see women engage in space science, technology, engineering, and math. You'll see women engage in space law and policies. You'll see women engage in space missions.
I think the UAE has set a very good example in the topic of women empowerment for the region to follow. They built the right infrastructure for every Emirati woman to succeed in every aspect here in the UAE.
My name is Farah Mazmi. I'm a space science engineer at the UAE Space Agency, and I'm part of the Emirates Mars Mission Science team. Our motto is the impossible is possible, and we can do anything.
We are excited today to be celebrating this day with our very own women and girls in computer science and engineering at the University of Wollongong in Dubai. We thank the Faculty of Engineering, SRC, and CEO for putting this session together for our UOWD community, and to Alumni Relations and Marketing for supporting the event. Welcome, everyone. I would like to now invite Mariam Zia, our very own SRC president and a STEM student herself, to say a few words.
Thank you, Himanshi. Hello, everyone. I'm Mariam, and I'm currently doing my bachelor's in computer science, and I'm in my third year. And I'm also really grateful to be leading the Student Representative Council of UOWD as their president. Talking about STEM and someone who is in this field, I remember growing up, I would really hear from my seniors, from my cousins who were in STEM, like some comments that, oh, I'm just like the second girl in the class. But I think as I grew up, I really saw a difference and really like being in my own class as well. Now there is an increased representation of women in these fields, which I think is a really great thing to see and how we have been progressed. But I think for any individual, if you have a strong support system around you, it really plays a role in your success. It really eases your success. And I'm really grateful to say that during my time at UOWD, I've not only like have the chance to be under the mentorship and guidance of not just empowering women, but also some really empowering and motivating men. And I'm really, really thankful for all that experience. And my advice to anyone watching this today will be that during your time in your career, you'll always, you will have instances where you will hear these sexist comments, but I think you should always take these comments as motivation as well, and always respond to those comments as by showing your perseverance and never let those comments let you down. So yeah, on that note, I really hope that each year we see an increased representation of women in STEM and we see women breaking stereotypes. So yeah, here's to all the women in STEM, here's to all the women of UOWD, and here's to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mariam. Now, I take great pleasure in inviting the inspiration behind today's event, Dr. Zinat Reza Khan, founder of TechG Awareness Efforts for Girls in STEAM, to inspire us with her story.
Thank you so much, Himanshi. Thank you, Mariam, already for that great start. It's an absolute pleasure to be here to have everybody join us today on such short notice, especially to the speakers for making the time on almost the weekend, that new weekend that we have, and all the students that are joining us today. A quick disclaimer: some of the stuff that I talk about now are a culmination of some 9 years of research and teaching training that I've done with schools and other university groups. So I want to start by saying I'm rare. And I know it sounds so weird for someone to say that, but I really am, and here's why. Because there's a glaring disparity in gender in our sector. I represent about 20 to 25% of girls that actually pursue STEM careers. And that's a very tiny number, right? But I'm lucky. This is the photo of the first batch of computer science students from University of Wollongong, all the way back 1997 when we first started computer science in UOWD. There I am right at the corner over there. And here is a photo of one of my teammates trying to do a coding, and you can see how we got dragged and bullied by boys. And they were making donkey ears at us because she had made one small mistake while she was on the board. But I'm still lucky because I had a fantastic set of parents who really believe that there is no differentiation between what a boy wants to do and what a girl wants to do. And I had teachers who really went over and beyond to support the girls in that class that you saw. One of them is right here, Mr. Nawar. He was the inspiration behind the College of IT that became Faculty of Engineering and Information Systems at UOWD. And he would drive the girls to GTEX. The boys would go on their own. And because the parents were very nervous about letting the girls go, he would take the responsibility and he would drive us to GTEX, because we would have projects where we had to go to GTEX to do work, to interview companies and things like that. So I think I've been very lucky in that sense that I have had such an amazing support system. And exactly as Miriam said, from amazing men and women who have throughout the journey really supported me. I'm also lucky if you compare, for instance, with Sophie Germain in 1807. She was an amazing mathematician, but when she was a child and she wanted to study math, her parents would take away her clothes, her blanket, her candles and everything in the dead of winter so that she wouldn't be able to study, right? Or think about any of these amazing scientists who unfortunately every time meant to credit for their work and each time won a Nobel Peace Prize without acknowledging these women's contributions. So I think we are very lucky that we are in the century that we are in, where we do have people constantly talking about the gender gap and talking about ensuring that we are seeing representation and we are ensuring that we are giving credit where it's due. But the problem still, of course, persists. When we think of scientists, you ask kids, these are some of the names that they will tell you, right? But they won't be able to name maybe most of these amazing women. What is the impact? By the age of 6, girls are already less likely than boys to think that they can be brilliant, and that they think that brilliance is a male trait because of the gender stereotype that they're constantly being fed. This also leads to bigger issues like the gap in wages that arise in employment. Because there are fewer women who are educated in these lines, there are fewer opportunities which actually pay more. Studies have shown that STEM career jobs pay 33% more than counterparts when women are pursuing these jobs. There are other implications in the society itself. Predominantly male scientists tend to exclude problems in society that pertain to women or children. For instance, the first generation of airbags in cars that were tailored to average male bodies, and that actually led to deaths of women and children. Why do we want more women? Just a small example, and we're going to hear some amazing stories today from the speakers, so I won't talk a lot more. But this story hit 2019, just before COVID, where these two girls, they saw the construction workers and they realized they needed something. And they actually engineered a cooling suit from inside out to help these workers. So things like that. But unfortunately, there are roadblocks. And I know Mariam touched upon it a little bit, but there are serious roadblocks that are there constantly that girls are facing. This is just a small snippet of a study that we had done where girls said they're told girls don't do math, you don't have math brain, boys are too loud, so girls can't answer in class. Teachers don't like the girls to answer in these science classes. Boys make fun of girls if they make mistakes, and so on and so forth, right? Why? Because there is this kind of stereotype that you see in front of you in the screen. And I've taken some of these photos actually. The ones from the top are from the internet, but the ones at the bottom are actually from toy stores right here in Dubai, which are telling you the Rainbow Dash is for girls and Toothless is for boys. Trust me, in my house, it's completely opposite. My husband and my daughter love Rainbow Dash, and my daughter and I love Toothless. So there can't be a gender divide in things like this, but there is constantly, right? This message is there. Then the bullying that happens, right, is just something I've just touched upon already before. The discrimination that we see even in advertisements. If you see each of these ads, there's the man who is leading or educating and the girl who is learning or assisting. The girl is not in the lead. Need to fit in. A big issue. Girls' birthdays, they get Barbies, castles, cooking sets, ironing sets, microwave ovens, washing machines, but boys get the Legos and the robots and, you know, the building blocks, right? But think about these skills, and these are skills that all children need, boys or girls. Boys need to know how to wash their clothes and stitch their buttons. Girls need to know how to change a tire. These are life skills. These are not just subject matters. Right? And of course, there's exclusion. There was this crazy campaign by Barbie once, where in the 1990s, it said, math class is tough. Girls are bad at math. Like, that's what the toy actually said. Of course, I'm so happy that nowadays, even these things are changing slowly. And you see that a lot of these companies are trying to come up with space-suited girls, you know, the dolls and so on and so forth. COVID, unfortunately, has added a magnifying glass to this, because most of the women and girls are ending up with the caretaking responsibilities at home, cooking and housekeeping, and of course facing the digital divide, particularly if they're from traditional families. They're not being able to get access or use webcams, and unfortunately then are not being able to, you know, voice their opinions, etc. So how do we help even out the field? Things that we have seen work are things like this that we have right now. This space that we created today, thanks to SRC, CEDO, FEIS, and alumni relations that have come together to bring this event to you guys. So workshops, awareness campaigns, talking more, listening more, support and awareness. We did this study 5 years ago, 10 years ago, which saw first 12 students said they were interested. By the end, 101 students actually chose STEM careers for their future. So awareness, any kind of support and awareness really works. I've seen telling my story works, so I invite you all to share your stories. Each of you who are actually already in STEM studying and then graduating and working, you are all inspirations. I tell my daughter's story and, you know, inspire parents to allow their daughters to, you know, choose whatever it is they want to choose. So I'm going to end with, if someone tells you that you're not good at math, science, or technology, please prove them wrong, because the power lies with you and only you to do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Zinat. Okay, so now without further delay, we now move to our star event of the day, the panel discussion. I invite our speakers. So Dr. May Albarachi, Acting Head of School, Computer Science, FEIS. Dr. Soli Matthew Beju, Associate Professor, FEIS. Jayatma Gamage, current UG Computer Science, FEIS student. Yomna Althevi, current PG Engineering, FEIS student. Anchal Bhala, FEIS alumna, Senior Data Science Consultant at Capgemini. Moderator, Dr. Zinat Reza Khan, Assistant Professor and Founder TechG for Girls, FEIS. This panel discussion today will bring you a discussion on the importance of women and girls pursuing careers in STEM, the kind of challenges that can be there, and how to overcome them and motivate yourself to be successful. We hope this session is an inspiration to all our audience. Over to you, Dr. Zinat.
Thank you so much. Once again, an absolute pleasure to invite all the panel speakers. I would actually like to open the floor by inviting each of you to say a few words about yourself. I'll start off, I'm looking at my screen, so I'll start off with Achal.
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, my name is Anchal Bhala. I am currently working as a senior data scientist at Capgemini. I am an alumna from University of Wollongong. I studied computer science and graduated in 2019. Apart from my job, I also like to do community work. I'm a co-ambassador at the Women in Data Science and help women who want to pursue data science in the region. Yeah, that's about me.
Thank you so much. Dr. Soli.
I'm Dr. Soli Matthew Beju, chartered engineer, something I've earned as I proceed with my career. I'm a chartered IP professional in BCS, this is UK, and a fellow from Higher Academy UK. And I teach at UOWD as an associate professor since 2007. I'll be very interested to talk about various challenges that I faced and how I overcome those challenges, and how every challenge was an opportunity to prove myself. And all these pre-nominals that you see that I've put up there was an answer to every challenge that I faced. I'm so excited to inspire students to follow and pick up STEM. Thank you.
Awesome. We can't wait to hear about it. Dr. May.
Hey, Dr. Zinat and everyone. I'm very excited and happy that you invited me to that event. My name is May Albarachi. I'm wearing a couple of hats in the faculty. So I'm Associate Dean of Research, and I'm also acting head of School for Computer Science and IT. People always ask me, what's your background? I always like to say I'm a computer scientist with a background in engineering. I actually started with studying telecom engineering, then went on to computer engineering, then computer science. So for all who said that math is not for girls, I say bring it on, you know. Very excited to share my story and my journey with you all today.
Thank you so much, Dr. May. Jayatma?
Hi, professors and everyone here. It's lovely to be here. So my name is Jayatma Gamage, and I am a final year computer science student in UOWD, and I'll be graduating in the major of cybersecurity. And apart from being a student, I'm also a student council member, and one of the members representing IT in the academic officer's position. And apart from all that, I'm a baker. So
nice.
yes.
So you're a
That is
chemist as
about
well.
me.
If
And
you ask my
super
mom
excited.
about cooking, she'll say you have to be a very good chemist to be a very good cook.
Super
Awesome.
excited to be here with y'all.
Thank you. Welcome, my dear. And of course, last but not least, Yumna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yumna. I'm an architect, actually, but I'm taking a Master of Engineering Management. This is my last semester, and I have chosen engineering management because a lot of people actually told me why you didn't complete with the architect and everything. But guess what? Yes, I am a girl, but I don't like the drawing as much as numbering and math and everything. Yeah, I love these things. I'm very good at these. Yes, people underestimate me, and some people, when I say that I want to do master in general, they say like, okay, we like, they underestimate me. But now I'm in the final semester, and I'm so glad. It had been a tough year and a half, but yes, we did it, and I hope I can be graduated with an HD degree.
Inshallah. I'm sure you will. We can already hear that passion in you.
Thank you.
So it's an absolute pleasure to welcome this panel. I'm so excited to get started. We'll actually start with Jayatma. You're the youngest in this panel. So I'm going to start with you and ask you, what was your inspiration? Why did you choose computer science and data security?
Oh, to begin with, even when I was small, my dad always used to like roam around at computers and everything. So I used to mess around in them. And I joined my first IT class when I was 3 years old. So my mom's friend was doing an IT class, and I just happened to walk in there, and I used to I saw people sitting and working in computers, and I started with playing with Mineswiper and art. And from there on, it built on, and I had like an amazing set of teachers in school and even in uni who's always like helped me pursue my passion, and very supporting parents. The moment I say, okay, I think I like this device, they will have it to me. And they always support me to like go through it, what anyone may say. So I think that's where like the push that I got.
Yeah.
And that's where I think I began my passion for computer.
So how has that journey been, like you being a girl in this space? So it's great to hear that you've had very supportive parents, but how's the journey been outside of home?
So being a girl going into this field, you do hear a lot of things like, okay, I mean, it's very time consuming, it's developing field, so you'll have to keep yourself updated if you need to go there. How will you have time in the future and everything? But I think amidst all that, if you know how to wear many hats like women do at all times, and if you know how to balance your time and go with everything, and if you know how to prioritize and get your things done, it should be fine. And so far, I think I've been able to manage quite a bit of it. So I think I'll be able to prove everyone wrong in the future too.
Amazing. That's such a fantastic attitude. I love that attitude. Okay, so we will move on to Yumna. What was your inspiration? You said a little bit about architecture and then coming into engineering masters and how you like numbers. So what has been your inspiration? Is there any person or experience or something?
It's not no, it's not, there is no person who inspired me, but the work itself. And okay, since I was in school, I was always getting very high grades with maths and calculus, everything. And then also when I studied architect because I love architect and designing, but still, like, I want more about that. I feel like I can spend hours and hours with solving problems. I love that. And then when I started to work, I felt like I want to know more about management, but it's more about studying with practical. I mean, it's not only about how to manage or something, but it's more about like the techniques. So I like these things. And I felt I want to know more about. I was so confusing between MBA and MEM. So I felt MEM is more engineering, more with with these tools and techniques that you can use it. So yeah.
So you're very self-driven. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So have you had, how has this journey been for you?
It was very tough, to be honest. And yes, I faced a lot with my parents. Let's say, yes, they believe in me, but I didn't feel the same support that they give to my brother. For example, they were like you. They told my brother like you have to be engineer, but for me like you choose whatever like we will support, but it's okay. So I didn't feel like it's the same powerful that they are giving to my brother is the same as me. Yeah, this is an undergraduate, and now yeah, some of them like they say like they didn't know if I can really go through it, but yes, I've been through it. It is hard, balancing between the work and the study and everything. Yeah, and sometimes as we girls we have these days that we are feel like your body's very tired and you can't and still it's affecting your like mentality, but still yeah, it's been very hard duration, but it's worth it. I mean, it's really it's very nice that yeah, in the end you see all what you did and faced. Yeah.
Wow, hang in there. We're all rooting for you for sure. Okay, moving on to Anchal. Anchal, you are already in the corporate world, working in this space. How is that like? What has driven you to that point, and what's that journey been like?
So tech is actually very uncommon in my family. Everyone do their own businesses or they're doctors. Not a single man or woman has pursued tech. But for me as a schoolgirl, I've always been fascinated by technology. I saw that, computers, how how they've made our lives easier, and sometimes they can be entertaining as well. So before actually starting university, I would go to YouTube and see these tutorials on how these apps are created, how to code. So that actually motivated me to study this further and actually go for computer science and help me learn more about these algorithms and also learn advanced things like computer science, like security. And my parents have been very supportive about my career as well.
So it's so interesting you said, because it's not just girls, even boys have not taken up this space in your family. So what was that like when you decided and you went ahead with the degree?
So my parents were a bit confused. They said, okay, you're going for computer science. I mean, this is something that no one has done. But then we trust you, and you should go for something that you like, because if you go for something that we're going to suggest you, you're not going to like it. You're not going to be in control of your own career, and you might actually drift away from your path. So that's why they said it's better to do something that you're interested in, and it's more likely that you would succeed in doing something that you are interested in rather than doing something that we are interested in or something that maybe your brother is doing or your cousins are doing.
Oh, that's amazing. So outside of the family, what was the experience like for you?
So the journey actually has been amazing. There were lots of ups and downs, but then no day has been the same. Every day there's a new challenge. Every day I'm getting to learn something different. And I think that's the beauty of tech. I mean, there's so many innovative things happening around us that actually gives us multiple opportunities to learn and grow. So be it data science, blockchain, and you might have even heard about the metaverse. So there are so many things that are happening that actually helps me to learn and consume all this knowledge and let me grow further.
Okay, so I know you mentioned something about challenges. Were these challenges related to the career itself, or did it have to do with you being a woman in that space?
Actually, challenges actually have come at many point in my life. So it can be also be because like sometimes I might have faced some bias, or it might have been learning some new skill. So these are the different kinds of challenges that I've faced.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. We will revert back to you in a while. We'll move to Dr. Soli. Dr. Soli, we do want to hear about those stories behind all of those distinctions.
Inspiration, yeah, sure. The inspiration for me to choose STEM was my parents. My mom was a senior school teacher, and my house was a laboratory, actually. She would get in different instruments and show us how it works. She would show us how the vernier caliper works, how the screw gauge works. She would show us how mercury looks in room temperature. She would get, I remember, a spirit level and show how to check if the surface is even. She would prepare for the bread mold experiments and things like that. And so actually that attracted us towards science, and we were very much into seeing and experimenting and finding out the reason behind things that were happening. So the inspiration towards science came from her. I definitely enjoyed problem solving and math. That was my favorite subject in school. The never die attitude and the courage came from my dad, was in the defense. So these things actually helped me persuade my dream, and go ahead. And I wanted to study in a field that is dynamic, that changes, where I can, keep updating myself, because I can't imagine doing the same thing throughout my life. So that was the idea behind going for computer science. And that's when I joined University of Pune. Pune is known as the Oxford of the East. And that's where I continued with my master's. And then later on, completed my PhD, and I'm still studying. I'm always studying new technology, looking for new certifications that I can do. Keep doing that. So it's a journey. It's a never-ending journey. Yeah, I mean, people say, age is just a number, and you can just go on. It's so wonderful to keep studying and learning and, inspiring people and giving back to community. So
absolutely.
so
And I think
it's
interesting. I think I'll come back to this now, is that, of course, we are a different generation than the students that we are actually sharing our platforms with, or the graduates that we are sharing the platform with. And you've heard a little bit of their challenges. What has this journey been like for you as a woman?
Let me start as a student. As a student, there were 60 students in my class doing computer science. Only 15 were girls. Okay, we did not have access to computers, as how students here can have their own laptop. They're born with the iPad in the hand. That is not the case. And how did we do programming? We were given assignments. These were really tough assignments, to do with compiler construction code, operating system simulation, maybe assembly simulation, operating research, problem solving, coding these things. So we were given 1 week to work on the assignment. We would write on paper, write the whole code on pages of paper. It's not just one page. It will run into multiple pages. And after that, we would be actually tracing the program manually. So we would take values, different types of values, and see how it works. And if we find that it does not give the desired output, we will make a change to the code. And by the time we reach the computer lab, we were allowed only 2 hours. Those 2 hours were sufficient for us to put in the program, and it would work perfectly fine. So the advantage was, when we start writing code, we didn't have to wait for the compiler to tell us this is wrong and that is right, like how the students nowadays do it. I mean, I'm seeing that they have an IDE that's so user-friendly. That was not the case then. So this helped us write code that was, almost perfect. So there was no time wasted on compiling and error checking and things like that. So that is how it was, the challenge was when we were a student. Later on, I started, and basically this had to be shown to the instructor. The instructor will grade us there and then. That is how we did coding. okay, manually. And that's what I also tell my students, at least you need to at least be able to write one code manually and try to trace it before you actually come to the computer lab and test it. I had had a chance to work on my internship with one of the top engineering companies there called Forbes Marshall. And then I had developed, I think, a automated system for the purchase and the store department there in Oracle and Forms, which was highly appreciated. And that was after my master's. It was my internship for the master's. It was a 6-month internship that I had to cover. I was then selected to work at British Airways. I was in the IM security department, Speedwing British Airways. And there were 6 boys selected and I was the only girl. Okay. So we were trained, of course, there was gender bias. Yeah. So, I mean, they were like, oh, how will this girl cope up and what would she do and things like that. We were put on training. We were working on cutting edge technology then, which included Windows NT, Lotus Notes. And we had the chance to work on Spark Machine, which was actually a dream come true. And I was in UK for a couple of years working for British Airways at BA office at Heathrow. And by the end of the assessment, we had around 8 teams that had to be led. So we 7 were the core and each of us had to lead a team. But there were 8 teams. And looking at the assessment, I was given 2 teams to lead. Okay, so the boys led only 1 team. And I end up leading Windows NT and Lotus Notes team. Working on 170 servers for British Airways was a wonderful dream. And, everything is connected. So an incident that happened, a breach, gave me the idea of, coming up with a solution for such a problem. And then I met up with a couple of professors, and I luckily got in touch with one of the professors who was a PhD from MIT. And that's how I started working on my PhD. And fortunately, I got married to a man who was pursuing his PhD at that time. And so we supported each other. And, because as a woman, there are many things that matter. It's not only you. When you talk about profession, it's also your family. All these things play a very important role. The support that you get from your family is very, very important. So I had huge support from my husband to complete my PhD. I was here in the UAE also teaching at one of the universities. I also got a chance to be trained as an online instructor. This was 2001, and I was teaching students in the US, teaching them online class, conducting online classes for them. And then my daughter was born. I mean, I'm telling you this because we are all girls and this is how life goes on. We can't just put a full stop to one part and we go on with the professional part. So we need to actually be able to manage all this and balance all this. And that is when I decided to give her quality time, maybe take off at least 2 years. I wanted to be with her, give her more time. And what I did previously, what I was trained in previously, that is the online teaching, came to help. I was teaching online. I was at home with my daughter teaching online, what we were doing now some time back. So teaching online at 2 universities in the US. I was teaching students who were double my age. I had students who are in the UN peacekeeping force. So they would tell me, ma'am, next week we won't be available because we'll be moving for training in an area where internet is not available. So that was one phase, after which I thought of going back on campus. And I got this job at UOWD, one of the most prestigious university, something I was looking forward to work at and had aspired to be a part of the team there. So I think I'll stop there. We can go on.
No, I
And
think
then,
it's good because we need to see that side, like how Jayatma said that a lot of times this is a feedback that you get. Girls come and say, "Yeah, I've been told that this is not a career for me because I will not be able to give it that much time because I'm expected to have a family and then have kids and maintain all of that." But I think it is very important that we do share this side as well. You are an example. Dr. May is an example that we can juggle all of these different roles and hats that we have to put on. So on that note of different roles and hats, I move to Dr. May. Dr. May, please share this amazing journey with us.
My hats and wear them now. Okay, so amazing journey. Yes, it is actually an amazing journey when I think back at it. I think if we talk about, because your question was about inspiration and how did I get into that and then the actual journey. I think it started when I was very young. I was an avid reader. I would read a lot, like love devouring books and stuff. And and I was actually fascinated by technology in general. This is something that was quite interesting to me. So I was reading a lot about that. And so I really was intrigued by that space. I even read one time something that said along the lines that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, right? So if you think about it, 50 years back, if someone told the people that someone would be holding a plastic box in their hand and talk to someone else across the globe, you'd say, no, that's not possible. Or you'd be sitting in a piece of metal that flies, or something like that. So I was really intrigued by that. I was really fascinated by engineers and what they could achieve, because all these structures and solutions that make our life fantastic. So that was the beginning, I think, the seed of interest in STEM. And then this was compounded by a fantastic mom who was extremely independent, strong-willed woman. She was the only woman in a family of nine boys and her, right? So a huge family. She's the only female, and she was as strong, if not stronger, than all of them combined, right? I think that's probably why she had to survive, right? So she was really a role model, and she raised, it's only me and my brother, so we're only 2 kids in the family. And she really raised me to believe that, look, you can do anything that you want. And there was never a question of, oh, you're a girl, he's a boy, he's going to do better than you. In fact, it was the opposite. She would always tell him, look at your sister, she's doing amazing. You have to catch up to her. I always grew up with this mentality that, what do you mean a man or a boy can do better than me? That wasn't even in my dictionary. Maybe that helped, set the mentality. So school-wise, everything was great. I mean, I was doing very well, encouraged by my parents, supported by everyone. I was always like, top of my class. So I didn't, even if there were fewer girls or something in the class, I never focus on that. I was always very goal-oriented. What do I want to achieve?
Yeah.
And focus on that. The rest is noise, it doesn't exist, right? So that was something. At university, I would say probably 30% of the class was girl. At that time, I was back in Egypt. So I was doing my bachelor there, telecom engineering, few girls, but never impacted me. I was friends with everyone, boys before the girls, and I graduated as valedictorian of the whole cohort without issue. So I didn't feel this was challenging for me or posed any challenges while I was studying. Now, when I finished my bachelor, I had met my husband. He was studying with me. He was my colleague. So I told him, look, I know what I want to do. I want to do my master's and PhD and work in academia. But to do that, I need to go back to Canada. So you want to come? You're welcome. You don't want to come? I'm going anyway. So I took him with me. We went there. I studied. And Dr. Soli was talking about raising a family, while building your career. So I had my daughter when I was 24 years old, while studying for my master's and working part-time and being pregnant. So it was difficult, obviously, that you have to juggle many things. But I think you don't let it like limit you. You know, you say, okay, I have to do it. You just have to do it without thinking too much about the obstacles or the negative thoughts about it. You just go for it, you know, and you will find that you have the power to actually achieve that. So that happened with my daughter. For my son, I was doing, again, my PhD. So I finished my PhD. I gave birth to him before my defense, just a few months before my defense. I remember, you know, holding him and typing with one hand and holding him with the other hand at night. I think it just makes you stronger, and it makes your kids also more independent because they see a role model that, oh, okay, this woman can do anything, you know, we can also do anything. So that was for the education part. Then I came here. I was studying in Canada, and I was, at that time, it was recession time. There wasn't many jobs available. So my parents were here. They invited me to come. I came. I visited a couple of universities, did some presentations, and got 3 jobs in 1 week, 3 job offers. I mean, so I'm like, huh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe there's something there. I started my career actually as an academic in Zayed University, which is a huge state university, as you all know. And this is when the professional challenges, I would say, starts, right? Because when you start your career as a woman in this field, it's more cutthroat than when you're studying, which is more friendly to a certain degree. So the main thing is during my career, the key challenges were coming from other people's biases and perception, not my own. Like I always had the same mentality, very focused, you know, goal oriented, doing my thing, always working on myself, improving myself, what I need to do to achieve, what's the best next step for me and how I achieve. I never also looked at people around me. I don't care, you know, what they do. If they become fantastic, that's good for them, but it doesn't make me more or less. So that helped me actually, this focus, this sharp focus. But when I went to the work environment, it was like people, you look at you, oh, you're a young female, young computer scientist or engineer, you know, poor her, she can't do much and stuff. So that's kind of so they wouldn't give me much responsibilities or anything. So I quickly realized that no one is going to hand me any opportunities. I have to create my own opportunities, basically. So I thought, okay, how do I create my own opportunities? Be proactive, volunteer, go talk. My manager, he wouldn't say hello to me. I would go every morning, the first one. Hello, sir. How are you? I'm here. How can I help you? You know, type of thing. It's like, if you don't like me, you will like me, type of thing. So he started to give me small things, a bit by bit. When he sees the result and he sees the outcomes, bit by bit, he started to depend on me in many things. And this is how I started to get more and more opportunities. And then after a while, I moved to Wollongong 5 years now. And same attitude, right? You just be proactive, look around you. What can you improve? What can you do to make an impact in the place where you are? And even if they have biases, I think at the end of the day, what counts most are results, right? If you can achieve good results, powerful, impactful results, they have no option but to accept you. They have no option but to embrace you, because at the end, they're benefiting from your energy and your hard work and so on. Yeah, so these are like how the hats came about, with the society role, head of school role, I don't know what role next. So yeah, it's just I don't want to take all the time, but yeah, I hope that gives you an idea about the story.
No, I think it's fantastic. And this is why we wanted the panel to have this range of girls and women, because I think there are different types of challenges that we face at different stages in life. And sometimes it's not cultural, it's just that phase, right? And exactly what you said, the problem isn't necessarily us or what we think, it's the biases that we face from around us, right? Because you said about creating that space for yourself, I'm going to jump back to Yumna. It was, you know, you've created this space for yourself now. You know, you were an architect and now you've gone into engineering management. How do you see yourself as a woman in that space? Like, do you know others who've pursued something similar? Where do you see yourself going from here? And do you think you being a female is a plus point or a negative point or a hurdle that you might have to cross?
To be honest, I received many comments, weird comments, like from my manager. He asked me like, why you are taking masters? Like, where you want to be, what you want to be, or where are you going with this master? And it's really weird that they give themselves the what you call this, like they give themselves the credit that they can take the master and they can, you know, yeah, they can be they can do more in the work. But for girls, like what, why you are doing, you're just doing enough, you know, like if I have this, yeah, if I have this potential to be managing one time in one day or something. He's like, they don't believe in us. And actually, I don't take this as the negative thing. I take it as positive. Like I wanna prove it wrong, and I wanna prove him wrong. And yes, I did it because first he was refusing for me to take the master. Like his opinion is no, don't take it. But now I take it. So yeah, I'm proud of that. I really feel it's very weird that in the population the girls is more than boys, if we see the population. But in classes always girls are less.
Yes.
I want to tell girls, no, go for it more and study more and believe in yourselves. It's worth it. And you are not less than anyone else, or like less than boys and men. We are the same. Actually, for the assignments, for example, I found that we girls have been like, we got more credits or more grades, more like thoughts and ideas than men. I don't know. I feel like we are more powerful from inside if we believe in ourselves. Yeah. So I encourage all girls to just complete
You're
their
right. In fact, just this week we were having this conversation about this panel, and I remember saying that, you know, if we had to spend half as much energy that we spend on diffusing bias on actual work, we'd be so much more ahead. You
Yes.
know, so because you've said that about, you know, the number of girls and boys, maybe I'll come to Jayatma, because you're currently a student in UG. Jayatma, how do you see your peers and yourself in that space, and how do you think UWD plays a part in that?
UOWD, to be honest, has been like fantastic. Like I walked in, my first class was Dr. Solly's class, and then I moved on to your classes and Dr. May's classes and so many other professors. And UOWD, to be very honest, doesn't discriminate if it's a boy or a girl, and classes are even evenly split. The opportunities we get is evenly split, or like even more. Like it's like Dr. May said, if you can find it, you can do it in UOWD.
Yes.
So if you go for it, you get the chance. This is a plethora of chances that are given to us as students. And if you go for it, if you have the drive for it, if you want to be there, you can go there. It doesn't limit whether you're a girl or a boy or whatever it is. You can just go there if you're given a chance to. And it's very open, very welcoming. Like I've been doing a job with UG for the past entire year. I've been handling a job, and all my professors for me have been like very welcoming, even if I want extra time, or just super supportive. And to be honest, amazing experience.
Right. And I think this is where it's important to also acknowledge the men who are fantastic supporters as well, right?
Definitely. All professors.
Exactly. So I think it's everybody in that space that we need to come collectively to you know, support each other. Achal, I'm going to move to you at this point, because you are in the industry and you're working. Why do you feel that there is a need to have more women and girls in this space to pursue this career?
Right. So we definitely need more women in the field. So I mean, even if you look at the stats, like how you showed Dr. Zinat in the beginning of the presentation, that there are less women in tech, but it's also a good thing, because this percentage is also increasing as organizations are slowly realizing that this change is important. So they've started to realize that both men and women are important for an organization if they want to stay competitive, if they want to bring in more talent into the industry. So if you think about it, so everyone thinks differently. We all we all see things differently. Men would think differently, women think differently. So this diversity is actually needed to help organizations see the problems that were previously unknown or previously were hidden, and also come up with unique solutions to these business problems that keep arising every day, and there are new challenges every day that can be seen from a different lens, which women and men can help with.
Fantastic. And do you see more women coming through now than maybe when you first joined the workforce?
Yes, I think yes. Women are joining the workforce. It's been like about 3 years. So I'm seeing a lot of women are being hired, at least in my company where I'm working right now. There are more developers, like women developers, that are joining the team. So definitely this number is increasing.
Increasing. Thank you. I jumped to Dr. Soli. Dr. Soli, because you said something about, you have to keep learning and improving yourself. But in that process, have you ever faced, like what Yumna said, that why do you really need it? We don't see how this could develop, how this could help your career. You are where you are, and, where do you really see yourself?
I really don't care. I mean, I
love that.
decide on doing something and I do it, So you support, you don't support, I don't care. So there are many cases where, maybe you might not get the support saying that, we may not be able to maybe fund you, or I don't care. I say, I'm doing it. You fund me, you don't. I go ahead and do it. There have been cases when I said that I was funded for it, that was way back. Yeah. When I joined UOWD, the first challenge given it was handed over to programming subjects. And the subject had very high failure rate, and we need to get the failure rate down. And when I looked at what was allotted to me, it was a classroom where students were without their laptops. They didn't have laptops, so they would not get laptops. It was 2007. So we had a projector and I could run my program, show it to them, and they would just be watching. And I said, this is not going to work. So I told them, please assign me a lab. I told my students, please be present in the lab, and we'll be having the classes in the lab. Now, in the lab, we did not have a projector. So I had to carry a projector from Maria and take it to the lab. I would set it up there, and that really helped. Now, not many supported this idea of, conducting a lecture in a lab and how is it going to work. But very soon, students responded very positively. Many who had failed a couple of times managed to clear. They did very well. Yeah, they did very well. And very slowly, most of our colleagues then started following this for for programming, especially for programming and interactive subjects. So there have been instances where you are opposed, and you're told that I don't think you should be doing this. But then I said, I need to try this, give me a chance. And I went ahead and I tried. And slowly I started using different technologies and different methods in teaching. I did a lot of research in that area, and I started applying different styles of teaching for different subjects. Now, because I was not only teaching programming, I had subjects like project management, many other subjects where different style of teaching had to be introduced to keep students engaged, So that then led to, receiving awards for teaching. So I received a couple of awards, almost 3 awards, highest ranking awards at UOW. I received awards at a global level. And then I thought of moving ahead and achieving a fellowship, Higher Education Academy, UK. So that was the certification that I can do, and I teach at an international standard. Nobody can question me at my level of teaching. So that helped me achieve that. And then when I started with the research, I was also doing research later on. So there was always this question of, will she be able to handle? Now when I did computer science, it was not the computer science that students are doing now. We had electronics. We went to the electronics labs. We were doing soldering. We were working with chips. We were soldering the chips. We were writing programs and which interacted with the hardware, things like that. So I was actually into hardware and I was capable of that. The question was, will she be able to do that? When I look at research projects where maybe I'm making use of some kind of hardware, though it was not very prominent, I realized there is something there, that I need to break. Yeah.
Right.
So that is when I
Proverbial
sort of
glass
going
ceiling
in
that we don't see.
yes. It is an unconscious bias that comes in maybe.
Yes.
So I said, yes, I'm going to approach Engineering Council, apply for chartership. And I achieved, and I was given the status of chartered engineer. So that is how I went about, breaking these stereotypes, improving myself. And then I had many cases where many students approached me from engineering background. I'm actually guiding a couple of engineering students, colleagues approaching, to mentor, to be in the judging panel for this. These are things that, I should say every challenge that came across was actually an opportunity. It all depends on how you look at it. Look at it as an opportunity. Don't let it go, put you down. Just break it.
Yeah.
Look at an alternative. Look at a solution to give back, okay, to prove yourself. Girls, you have to prove yourself. This is the way to do it. And I would say that, I then went ahead. I went on to complete my MBA in IT management. That was 2019. As I mentioned, I keep looking at nano courses relevant to my area, keep updating myself. I think we are in a space where we need to keep, updating ourselves,
Updating ourselves.
And I enjoy doing it. So, and I enjoy, giving a part of that to my students. That's when we started with I started conducting technical workshop series. I had one last semester also for students who could just come in and, have a crash course in something that is new in the industry, with the softwares that are required. So that is how I try to give back and inspire my students, and definitely support women colleagues, okay? Appreciate the way May has taken things and how innovative she's been and what she gets on table. Of course, salute to you when you actually persistently went ahead with your dream of excellence, creating a center for excellence in integrity. So I think we need to support our women colleagues. We need to help them. That is also a very important part of what we're doing.
So on that note, because we are almost out of time, I'm going to just switch to Dr. May at this point. So what do you think is our responsibility from our places? Now, each of us now I feel we have a responsibility. We are in this panel. We've shared our experiences. We are now ambassadors for women, right? So what do you think what does that responsibility look like? And how do we inspire and support women in this space?
I think our responsibility is to be role models for all this young generation, because if they see successful role model, mentally they think, I can do it. If they did it, I can do it too. So it breaks this mental barrier that it cannot be done. And how do we become mentors and role models? Visibility events, things like that help a lot, because it brings people around the table. They listen, they don't realize, but they're impacted by what we are saying, right? Do a lot of these events, get people together on a larger scale and talk, have training programs for girls from young age about STEM, because a lot of it is misconceptions, thinking that this is difficult or it's not for me or I'm not smart enough to do it. And when they try it and they succeed in it, they're thinking, why was I thinking that? So I think dispelling the myth and the misconception is very important through actual workshops and activities and showing them that it's easy. You can do it. Anyone can do it, actually. This is one. Second thing, just speaking and having a lot of visibility event. Third, I think we would benefit a lot from having some kind of actual official mentorship programs where senior colleagues or women, successful women, could actually take on some girls, to mentor them in their careers, what should I study? Should I go for this degree or not? I have a lot of them. I have a lot of students who actually call me for some career advice, but I think if we have a program, an official mentorship program, where girls can approach any of the women, the fantastic women in the group, and just ask, you know, I want to go for this master degree. Is it the right choice? I want to apply for this job. What do I do? I'm facing this challenge in my workplace. Having this community, this support community, I think could make a huge difference, definitely.
Fantastic. On that note, just around the table, what would you advise to girls and women who are unsure of this discipline, who have maybe faced bias or stereotype for women and girls in science? So I will go across what I see on my screen. So Achal, 30 seconds or less.
So my advice would be not to be afraid of trying new things. So that'll help you figure out what you're most interested in. Go for that summer course, go for that internship, even if it's unpaid. It'll help you give the experience that you need to apply for a better one. It'll help you figure out what your interests are mainly, and this would make you more valuable in the market as well. And also find yourself a good mentor, as Dr. May said, because a mentor would help you with the issues that you're facing. It will help you navigate the industry as it is, because as said, like, it can be very overwhelming because there's a lot of things you can do. So you would need a mentor to actually help you navigate this path that's there.
Absolutely. Jayatma.
So what I would like to say is nothing is impossible, and like to go where your heart says. And as Achal said, like, find a mentor, find people who can support you, and use every opportunity that you get. Like, opportunities are not going to come to you. You'll have to find for them. But take use of them, and if you're given resources, use them to the max.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dr. Soli.
I would say that do not give up hope. Okay, remember that every challenge is an opportunity to prove yourself better. Persistently, you need to follow your dreams, make changes to your approach, maybe, but continue with your efforts. Be true to yourself and work sincerely. And speak up for yourself, and do not accept or support any gender biased decisions taken anywhere. And I would also advise students to join organizations, professional organizations like British Computer Society or ACM, because they have the mentorship program there. I'm one of the mentors on VCS program, where I mentor young girls and students based on the area that they are working in. So I think this is a nice place to start to enroll themselves at these professional organizations. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yumna.
Yes. My suggestion will be to every girl, just go to your favorite place one day, sit there alone, and imagine yourself what you would like to be in the future, without any boundaries, without any caring about the voices that they come to you from outside. And once you sit and you know what you like to be in the future, just go for it and do it. Even if you face any obstacles, like the grass is not always up, it's always coming a little bit down, but again it's going up. So don't feel disappointed or something. Just go for it, and you're gonna reach it. Believe in yourself, and you'll do it in the end. Yeah.
Awesome. Dr. May.
My advice would be, first, to surround yourself by people who would support you and push you forward. If you have negative people around you who constantly bring you down, that's gonna ultimately impact you. So get away from these people. Try to just not be in their presence. Sometimes we can't, because unfortunately it might be our own family members, but try not to be subjected to this negative talk and negative energy, and find people who support you and surround yourself with them. The second thing I would say is, if you're unclear about a career in STEM or in tech or something, try to make an informed decision. If you are contemplating something, you're not sure about it, go take a short course, take an online course, try it out. You know, there is a ton of resources and online material and online courses. How can you make a decision about something that is as important as your career if you haven't even tried the thing that you're thinking about? Go do an unpaid internship. Ask people who work in the industry, how is it in real life? Just make an informed decision. And last but not least, always work on improving yourself and your profile. Always aim, okay, I am here today. What do I want to be tomorrow and next year and in 5 years? And put yourself a plan and just keep moving forward and don't listen to any noise or negativity around you. Ultimately, all of this is just taking you off track. You want to stay on track and move ahead.
Absolutely. And what a fantastic ending that is. So I think that some of the amazing takeaways, I'm just going to quickly summarize them, is stay goal-oriented, make sure you know how to balance your life and work. That is a skill, I think, and it's true not just from women. I think it's even men have to do that. They have to be able to give enough time to their families and to their careers. I think it goes both ways. Take opportunities or make opportunities where you can for yourself. Don't let hurdles limit you. Problem is with others' biases, but don't let that stop you. You need to push forward. You should not let negativity stop you or hold you back. Keep learning and improving yourself. And I love that idea of a mentorship program for girls. I think definitely Dr. May, Dr. Soli, we need to work on that from our faculty. I think from my side, I would also say let's have a lot more visibility for everything that you do. LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever you're using, use that. We need more girls in sciences to come into these spaces and actually share their whatever, no matter how small you think your success is, it's still a huge step. So it should be celebrated. Wonderful to speak to every one of you, to learn about your journey and to learn about your inspirations, because I think that in itself, for me itself, is such an inspiration as well. And I'm sure it's been for the audience as well. I would like to open up the floor for any questions that may be coming through, because I know I've seen a few come through already. Anybody, I've allowed audience to unmute if anybody's interested, or you can just put it in the chat and I can read it out. I have no problems. Okay, I have a question that has come in. It is for Yumna. Yumna, so why did you think you wanted to go from architecture to engineering management? So maybe because I think you spoke a little bit about wanting to do MBA and then changing your mind. So maybe just giving us a little bit of insight on that.
Okay, so for me, as an architect, we are using some programs that like 3D Max and AutoCAD and these things. To be honest, I hate computers. I hate just sitting behind the computer and designing. I used to draw with my hands, even 3D, but with my hands. So now all the job is about 3D Max and these things. And I like being in the field itself, inside the site, and having problems, how to solve it, and these things. So I found myself more to engineering management than just an architect doing some drawings. So yeah, and MBA, I felt like, to be honest, like it's a good start for a business, or for if someone wants to do a business, or and to improve in the work. But engineering management is more focused in the field itself of engineering. So yes, I felt it very, very nice course to take.
Fantastic. We have a question that's come in for Achal. So Achal, the question is, so have you ever faced a stereotype about girls in data sciences?
Actually, yes. So I don't know if it was like an unconscious bias or if it was like an actual stereotype. So this was one of a colleague where he would usually, when he wanted to, when he would be working on a project, he would just come up to me and be like, oh, so you're a girl, so can you fix the colors? Can you fix the drawings over here? Because I know you would be good with that. So so I was new at that time, so I would obviously say yes. But if something happened right now, I would definitely go like, okay, I'm not sure how to deal. I'm not sure how to fix the colors, because I'm not only about colors. I can do the coding. I can build the models. I can do other work except for fixing colors. So yeah,
Oh my
that has
gosh.
happened.
And I think you've really brought up a sore point that, early in the career, a lot of times girls and women don't know how to respond, right? You're faced with this kind of, it could be discrimination or stereotype or bias, and you just don't know how to respond. So going back to what Dr. May said about setting up a program. Yes, Dr. May.
I just want to jump in quick. It
Yes.
happened with me, and I see it happen with a lot of women at the beginning, where we sit on a meeting table and then they expect the woman to take the meeting minutes, right? So they would look at you and say, can you take the meeting minutes? First time it happened, I was like, why me? And then I realized, and then I took the pad, I give it to my colleague. Your handwriting is so much better. You do it.
Yes, absolutely. And I think I'm hoping that this kind of conversations, people who are attending will also know now that it doesn't matter at what stage I'm in, I have the right to stand up and say no to something like that, which automatically assumes that just because I'm a girl or a woman, I'm going to be doing a certain amount of things. Fantastic. I have a question for Jayatma. So Jayatma, the question is, you've chosen data security as well, and what if once you graduated and you went into a job and there was a bias that said girls can't do certain security jobs, like stay out in the night, middle of the night, and etc., etc. How would you deal with that if something like that happened?
So, I mean, it all depends on the support system, high situation I'm in then. But personally, if I'm put into that situation and if I can go for it and the circumstances allow, I'll go for it. Because that's what I signed up for and that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I've spent so...
Right.
Wait, what's happening?
I think, Jayatma, we have lost your voice volume. Is that just me?
Yeah.
No, I can't
We can't hear her.
So Jayatma, we couldn't hear your last maybe 20 seconds, what you said.
You were the one speaking from your side?
No, I think we have lost.
Because it's lagging also.
Yeah, it's lagging. Okay, no problem. We will move on because I have a question for Dr. Soli. So, Dr. Soli, when you were doing when you did the online learning in 2001, what made you think to do it back then?
It was a part of, it was an opportunity given. We were trained on this, and at Champlain College, actually, they came down to UAE, and we had a session. We had a 1 week, 2 week session on how to use this content and how to develop it. And it was a training session that I attended, and that opened up the opportunity to teach online students in the US. So because where I was working was a branch of the university in the US. So basically those who were trained had this opportunity opened up to teach, in the US. And it's not only that particular software. Then I have been trained on various other software, because once you get the hang of it, all of them are very similar. So whether it's WebCT, whether it's Moodle, whether it's Angel Learning, there were so many there. So I had this chance to work on these various platforms, online platforms then. And I think it was a wonderful opportunity that I received then, and which was very helpful when I actually needed it.
And I think a classic example of what we've been discussing, picking up on opportunities wherever you get them. Awesome. Question for Dr. May. Dr. May, how do you juggle all the hats that you have, including your 3 kids and a husband and the roles that you have at work and the students?
Yeah, great question. I think I get this question a lot. I think I am lucky because I have a very strong support system at home. So if your family is supportive, I have a very understanding and supporting husband. I have parents who are amazing and who help a lot and pitch in a lot, even though they're older in age. They come at any moment, take the kids, drop someone here and there. So having the support system helps a lot, I think. The other part is I take it one day at a time, breathe, see what I need to do it for that day. I don't try to think ahead, oh my God, this week I have like these million things to do. No, it's like day per day. What do I need to do? One step in front of the other. And I follow religiously time blocking. So I block time blocks in my calendar. Each block is for one activity, and I follow it religiously. If this is for email, that's it. I'm not gonna look at email for the rest of the day. If this is for research, this is for teaching, because otherwise one activity can overtake all your time and then you're gonna fall behind. So you try different time management techniques and try to get as much support and be calm and know that it will be okay at the end.
Thank you so much. I think with that, there aren't any more questions. So I hand it back to Himanshi, and of course, thank once again all the wonderful speakers who came on. I know it was very short notice, but we really wanted to do something and celebrate all the amazing women that we have in our faculty. So we really thank you for giving us the time and being here and being so candid and honest about your experiences. Over to you, Himanshi.
Thank you, Dr. Zeenat. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all our speakers here on behalf of the UOWD community for this engaging and insightful panel discussion. And we really hope to see you again next year. Before we wrap up, please fill this short feedback for us so we can improve and bring you more interesting events from TechG in the future. Thank you.
For the opportunity. Zena, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, girls, for attentively listening to us, and all the very best. Looking forward to more such events. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you for letting us be part of this.
Thank you for joining.
It was fantastic. We had a lot of fun. Let's do this again soon.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Himanshi, for emceeing as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.